Welcome on the show today as we run towards 3 weeks of meet and greet with some people who want to lead Nigeria. I've decided to bring on set someone who is a cleric. Why did I decide to do that? Because it's someone who doesn't take sides, just like we don't on this show. We just present all sides of the situation. And at least I can feel free to discuss the state of the nation with this man, especially because he's written a book which I believe is truly beyond ideas, like the title says. This book is more than 500 pages. I haven't finished reading it, but the little that I have seen, and knowing the pedigree and the work that this reverend gentleman has done, I know that he's in the best position to be our guest today on Seriously Speaking. I'll be right back if you don't go away. My guest today is the Bishop of Ekiti Diocese of the Catholic Church of Nigeria. Now, he was born in Ibadan, but he became bishop in Ekiti in 2008. He was made a priest in July 2007, 1987, my writing. It's my pleasure to welcome the Most Reverend, His Grace, the Archbishop of Ekiti, Reverend Father Felix Ajakaye.
Thank you very much, Ma, and viewers at home. Please let me first say that in the Catholic Church, the archbishops are addressed as Your Grace. Yeah. An archbishop is His Grace or Your Grace. Then the bishop, my Lord, or Your Lordship. Education. Or Your Lordship. And also...
So for today, how should I address
I'm not an archbishop.
You're a bishop.
I'm a bishop, and you can just bishop or whatever you need to call
But I'm amazed at your humility, though. I mean, is it a function of your person or your work?
I grew up in a very humble home, and my father was a catechist in the Catholic Church until he died in 1994. My mother is still alive, but I grew up in a very humble home, loving home. And according to St. Gregory the Great, humility is the mistress or the mother of all virtues. So I try to be what I am to be.
I will share some pictures that we've seen you carry placards, walk with the people on the street. So you're a social activist. Is this a function of your upbringing or a function of your nurture, your training?
Oh, I thank God that God has created me. He has created me to be who I am. And you know, as I told you, I grew up in a very humble home. I had humble beginning. And when I can't help others, it's when I feel sad most. When I can't help others, it's when I feel sad most. And again, being passionate about the people around me and my beloved country, Nigeria.
You go everywhere. Even when you met the Pope, you had this, your Nigerian flag on your chest.
Anywhere I go in the world, I have to go because I'm a Nigerian to the core. I love my country, but I may not appreciate what some people are doing in my country. Mm-hmm. But no matter what, Nigeria is still my country. And I cannot claim any other country because God knew why He has created me to be where I am and who I am.
Recently, there was, you read a lot of articles, and it's those articles that have formed the core of the books that you have published. However, there was an article in May, in fact, on the 30th of May, during Democracy Day, and one of the pieces that you wrote is Nigeria, a Hope Betrayed. It tended to give a sense of you are disappointed in what's happening in Nigeria today, and even in the leadership. True or false?
Oh, thank you very much. It's not a straitjacket answer, ma. Mm-hmm. Dr. Ruben Abati he reviewed my book in 2007. The first one, Beyond Ideas, the latest one is the new and expanded edition. And he said, when he wrote that Father Ajakaye was not a bishop then, that Father Ajakaye is angry but not despair. In the Catholic Church, we talk about hope, and it's one of the theological virtues that we have, 3 theological virtues: faith, hope, and charity. As I began in that article, I wrote it really on May 29 and sent it to the media. I didn't even know that it would come out the next day. Mm-hmm. And when it came out the next day, do you know, first called me, I was in the office, and it was His Eminence Anthony Cardinal Olubimi Okoji, who called me that my article...
Who ordained you in the first place?
He was also the one who ordained me, and I really revere him a lot. He called me, and I had to send for the papers to buy, and many people were calling me too, social media and all the rest. So I began that Nigeria, a hope betrayed. Hope is described as, the general feeling that some desire will be fulfilled. And that was the feeling our forebears, fathers and mothers of those who fought for the independence. That was what they had in mind. But daily, I keep on seeing retrogression. Honestly speaking, we need to be sincere with ourselves. Honestly speaking, daily I see retrogression rather than progressing. One step forward, many steps backward. And I said, this is not the country we all desire to be. Like in one of my articles there in my book, I wrote one in the year 2000, Nigerian dying wretched. Nigeria, a country dying wretched. A kind of Nollywood film titled Died Wretched. Somebody told me to watch it, and I watched it, and I was seeing Nigeria in that wise.
Now, whose fault is it?
I said, all of us, really, generally. Why all of us? Number one, those who find themselves at the end of affairs. That is what we need to do now. Media in particular, investigative journalism, not one-chance journalism.
What is one-chance?
One-chance journalism, in Lagos, we see some drivers who come, one chance.
You're not sure of the destination.
Exactly. And again, I also learned that some tend to be criminals. But when you say one-chance journalism, you publish an article or you publish a news item, there should be follow-up stories. This is what I'm talking about. And as I said, we as well. There is a law that people, Okada riders, should put on helmets. FRSA, they were going to do whatever they were going to do. Was the law enforced? And those are the things that we are talking about, structures. So, as I said, nearly all of us, that we are contributing to this, people who want power, they keep on sending money, throwing money at people, other people, and they chase the money and they pick it, and at the end of the day, we'll be blaming ourselves.
So what are your major concerns?
My major concerns is that we need to look inwards now and be realistic.
When you say we
Nigerians, all of us generally, no matter our ethnic backgrounds, religions, and political affiliations, all Nigerians, we must now sit down and fashion out a way of being realistic, of being practical. Hence my book, Beyond Ideas. In fact, I'm working out the modalities of how we can have a group of people with like minds to have what we call BIG, B-I-G. And B-I-G means Beyond Ideas Group.
Oh.
We need more of action. Because people will talk. Let me give you a practical example. I'm a lead, I find myself in a position of power. And I keep on telling people that the other party or the other group, or even those ones don't like me. And what do? I now turn my own personal issue into national issue. And it's happening in our government. It is only when it affects them, then they will hold, the National Assembly people would hold meetings, they will call themselves together, joint National Assembly meeting, to discuss their own personal issues, and they will turn them to national issues. People are being killed here and there. People are being adopted here and there because they have the security. Most of the times, they don't care. This is what we are saying. But we, Nigerians as people, both the voters and the people they think they've been voted for, we should rally around and ask questions. Not to speak out is to lose out.
You said so, not to speak out is to lose out. But that's why this is your book. You are dedicating it to all the people who, through their unadulterated struggle and commitment, use their God-given talents to seek true peace, equality, and justice in the world. I would like to take a break. Because I want to take the issue of equality and justice and link it to the level of ethnic differences that's happening now and also security in Nigeria. I'll take a break. I'll be right back with Bishop, if you don't go away. Welcome back. Since Archbishop Ajakaye, Bishop Ajakaye, even me, Catholic,
I know. You know why? You know why? Those who are in the archdioceses, they tend to make such mistakes as well, because they are used to archbishops.
Our own archbishop. But what's important is some of your priests were killed. You've lost a lot of priests to these cattle marauders, or are they herdsmen? And recently in Lagos, the archbishop led a group of people to go and to peacefully protest. And I wonder what you see personally, considering somebody who's been very, very vocal about this question of security and insecurity. What do you think about that situation?
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, we don't even limit it to the priests and the Catholics killed. Every life is sacred. And nobody or group, no group of people and nobody has the exclusive right to kill. And if that I have life, I have a right to live. But if my life, if I'm being attacked dangerously, I also have the right to defend myself, really. Because no person, and that's why God is the giver of life. And that is what we should preach to ourselves.
Two things I would like you to respond to before we do, because by the time your elections in your state, where you reside, would happen pretty soon. And I wonder, and just before, sometime in May, there was this issue of violence already erupting in your state. I wonder how you feel when you see such things and what you wish would happen.
Blessed Pope Paul VI says that peace is not the absence of war, but the presence of justice. What is happening now in Ekiti State? Again, this do or die affair.
Do or die.
That the electorate must be well enlightened. Generally, and particularly in my state, Ekiti State, we must be well enlightened.
But they're enlightened in that state, they're professors.
Education is different from enlightenment. Somebody can get a degree, and by the time the person gets a degree, you tell that person to come and defend that degree. Yes, we have professors who profess well. Let me use the language of Professor Gary Ghana.
Yeah.
But in my state, and I would like the elite too. The elite, they will talk, they will write, but do they go home? How many of them go home to enlighten the people? When I say home now, I mean in different states of the Federation. It is when elections are coming, you will see people coming out, they'll be having foundation and empowerment. When they lose the primaries, by the way, most of the times there is no real primaries taking place. So most of the times, the people, they are being bamboozled by the people in power.
So yeah, what are you wishing for Ekiti right now?
Right now,
Peace.
I would like those concerned to see themselves as Ekiti people, and is an Ekiti person who will be the governor. And all of us must see ourselves of coming from the same source and the same heritage. Every life is very important.
I hope it turns out like that.
We need to pray, but we must walk our prayer. We need to talk, but we must also walk our talk.
I would like you to would you extend this to the 2019 elections as well?
Yeah, 2019 elections,
Do you think we can gain traction at all in 2019, or we should be hoping for future?
The desire is still there. 2015, so many people said there would not be Nigeria. Nigerians, you know why we are still standing? We have shock absorbers.
Is that good, though?
To have shock absorber is very good. That is being hopeful people, too. That is why we are strong. Because if not, June 12, what happened in June 12?
You say June 12 is your real democracy?
My real democracy is June 12, because without June 12, 1993, we wouldn't have May 29, 1999. So what I'm saying is that For 2019 to take place, we must have our PVC too. And again, enlightenment is very important. That's why this, is it the bill?
Not too young to run.
Not too young to run, and we are happy. Must there be a bill for young people to, how many of them have got the PVCs? This is the enlightenment, and I thank you for the work you are doing and your team.
Thank you.
This is part of the enlightenment that I'm talking about. But again, we need to go beyond talk.
So I'm wondering, how can people get access to this? Because this book is quite rich. How did you publish it, by the way?
You know, I've been saving because I spent it's millions. Instead of me to be getting vehicles, and other things.
You were saving money to publish this?
In 2007. And I made it a personal project, not a diocesan project.
Yeah.
And even I told them in the diocese, the parishes, don't launch.
I'm surprised.
If you want to buy, you are free, but don't launch.
So the idea you had with this is just to get people to see.
I want people to read, not just seeing. I want people to read what has been happening in my country, in your country.
To what extent? For what purpose?
For us to act. Ignorance is no excuse. But when you know what is happening behind the stage, you'll be able to stand on your 2 feet and say, here I am. This is the time. Enough is enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for being our guest. I wish I could go on, but we'll definitely invite you again. Thank God at least you could come all the way from Ekiti to be a guest on this show.
Oh, I thank you. This is really, seriously speaking. And we must speak seriously for Nigeria to be where God wishes it to be.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week. Like I said, our meet and greet series starts. So some of the people who are running for leadership will be here as guests. You'll enjoy it, I'm sure. See you again next week. Bye.